Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. In an old episode of All in the Family, we can hear Archie speaking in a muffled voice off stage while the rest of the family is on stage. And we hear him bellow out, "Who put the toilet paper on the wrong way?" See, Archie wants the toilet paper to go on this spindle so that the folds come down the front side. But someone had put it on the back side so that the toilet paper comes down the back side of the roll. And when he finds out that it was actually his son-in-law, Mike, aka Meathead, he goes into a bellowing rage. Everyone knows that toilet paper is put on with the front coming down on the roll. Of course, Mike disputes that, and they get into this great argument that runs the whole episode, each trying to show the other one the error of their ways. And it reminds me of the absurdity of our arguments and disputations with each other, the kinds of things we actually get upset with each other about. And I think that's the point of the episode. It's the silliness of most of our arguments. You know, somewhere deep inside of us, we want the world to align itself to the way that we think. We know it's not likely to happen, but there's a fantasy in us that believes somehow in some way or another there is a justification in believing that the world should look at itself the way we see it. And of course, that rarely happens. It rarely happens in our experiences with each other. And that can be really frustrating for us. I know someone who teaches at a university in the political science department. And they have a staff of roughly 12 professors who teach. And this person was telling me that the whole staff is left of center politically. Their political ideology is all on the one side of the spectrum. And I asked the person, do you see a problem with that? Do you see the lack of ideological diversity as a problem within your department? And they said no, that they themselves could teach the whole spectrum of political thinking, even though they had their own personal ideas about or preferences. And that's true. This person is a very reasonable person. But the whole staff of 12, something seemed out of sort to me. And yet what was happening in that political science department is totally natural, totally normal. We tend to congregate with people who think like we do, who see the world the same way that we see the world. And you have the kind of control in a political science department, you just hire people like yourself. Like attracts like, they say. Families, they don't seem to work out so well that way. We often in our families have great diversities of ways of seeing life. When my daughter was 4 years old, I went out and bought her a beautiful hand drum. See, I was doing hand drumming at the time. I still do it, at West African hand drumming. And I had this dream in my heart that someday when she was a bit older, that the two of us would learn to drum together. We'd go to drum circles and drum camps, and we'd have the most wonderful time, father and daughter, drumming together. One problem, though, she's really never picked up the drum ever. This beautiful drum has sat in our home, never to be touched. She has no interest in drumming, zero. It's almost like she goes out of her way to frustrate me. It's easy to take other ways of seeing personally. In my marriage, maybe your marriage too, if you're married, you understand that your spouse sees the world often very differently from you do. That can be a place of great richness and celebration, but very often it's a place of frustration and alienation and disputation. It can be a place of conflict. See, because we want the world to align itself to our way of seeing it, and we want other people in it to see the way we see. It's true in the church. You know, the original church was a place of immense diversity. People who would never congregate with each other, who would never come together in life with each other, now have this common space together that they're sharing for the first time, and it's not easy. Something's drawn them there to share a space they would not otherwise share, and I think it's perfect love. Perfect love does not get rid of diversity of thought or way of seeing. It doesn't try to seek the common ground in life together. Rather, perfect love calls us to climb the mountain of love, to climb up together. And when we reach the peak of love, we commune together on the higher ground and we see the truth that beyond all the diversity of life, we share a common source and a common identity. We are all children of God.